Benito Mussolini contra Juan Domingo Perón. ¡Vamos!
Atención al balcón, ha llegado el arquitecto del estado, el que inventó el sistema que tú luego has plagiado. Soy el dulce, soy la esencia, el origen del poder romano. Tú solo eres un eco, un invento sudamericano. Me copiaste los gestos, las masas, el discurso entero, pero te falta mi acero, te falta mi instinto guerrero. Yo marché sobre Roma para refundar un imperio eterno. Tú marchaste a la aduana para llenar el ministerio interno.
As the World Cup comes to a close, many fans from Argentina will be remembered.
Muchacho, ¿qué tal?
Yo voy a pegar una piña.
Ay, tampoco sea así. Bueno, se va a perder.
For their viral moments, that did not help their cause. After a diabolical decision by VAR, this is how they treated a fan of Egypt. They fought, they mocked, they were vulgar at times. On the flip side, a ton of supporters from other competing countries showed what the World Cup is all about. From Mexico to Norway, Sweden to Japan, it was all love. And none of these awful moments were captured by these respective fan bases. There were brawls after matches. And back home, there were clashes with police. There's a few different points. The first is we know about this country's history. We know that a lot of Nazis fled Germany and wound up in Argentina, even having some towns that are German inside of Argentina. There have been a lot of stories that have come out about the anti-black racism that takes place in Argentina. Of course, we saw this with a senator in Paraguay. This is not just one country. There's a ton of anti-black racism that takes place in the United States of America as well. But I believe that there is a correlation between how the players handle themselves, the precedent they set, the lack of leadership they show, and how the fans feed off of that. Because when you have Nicolas Otamendi, who continues whining and showing how terrible sportsmanship can possibly be from a defending champion, when you see the way that Paredes launched attack after attack after losing the World Cup final at Spanish players, when you see the punches that were thrown, when you see the violence that took place, when you see the way that their team rubbed a win in the faces of their opponents.
Italy is out of the World Cup. Again. No Azzurri. No blue shirts. No Italian anthem before kickoff. But if you look at Argentina, something feels strangely familiar. The surnames, the gestures, the food, the passion, the drama, the way football becomes religion. Messi, Scaloni, Di Maria, Tagliafico, Molina, Petzella. So many names that sound like they could belong in an Italian family album. And maybe that is not a coincidence. Because Argentina is not just another country at the World Cup. Argentina is one of the most Italian countries outside Italy. Millions of Argentinians have Italian ancestry. Some estimates say around half of the country, maybe even more, has some degree of Italian roots. Between the 19th and 20th centuries, millions of Italians crossed the ocean and built new lives in Argentina. They brought surnames, food, language, gestures, family traditions, music, passion, and of course, football. So here is the question. If Italy is out of the World Cup, is Argentina the closest thing Italy has left? Is Argentina just another rival country? Or is it Italy's distant football cousin? Which World Cup nation carries the deepest Italian echo? Then, Argentina may be the answer.
Just hours after the 2026 FIFA World Cup final, Hollywood legend Samuel L. Jackson found himself making headlines, not for a movie, but for a fiery social media post. The actor reshared a message that strongly discouraged fans from supporting Argentina, reigniting conversations about the country's history of racism. Samuel L. Jackson reposted an image originally shared by the SEC Black Alumni Network on his Instagram stories, shortly after Argentina lost the World Cup final to Spain. The viral post featured Jackson's Django Unchained character, Steven, edited into an Argentina football jersey alongside a blunt message directed at Black people. The post read, "Dear Black people, please do not cheer or root for Argentina to win the FIFA World Cup. Argentina has historically been one of, if not the most racist countries in the world." It went on to say that if a Black person was supporting Argentina, this is what you look like to me, using the edited image of Jackson's character to make the point. The message appeared to compare black supporters of Argentina to the term Uncle Tom, a derogatory label used to describe someone seen as betraying or being overly submissive to their own community. Jackson did not add his own comment or copy. Instead, he simply re-shared the post to his Instagram stories, allowing the message to speak for itself. The post comes amid renewed scrutiny of racism involving Argentinian football supporters during the World Cup. As reported by The Guardian, videos of Argentinian supporters making monkey gestures towards Brazilian fans have repeatedly surfaced whenever Argentina and Brazil face each other. This history stretches back decades to a 1920 published Argentinian newspaper cartoon that depicted Brazilian footballers as monkeys. Recent incidents have also drawn attention. Several Argentinian tourists were arrested in Brazil for alleged racial insults.
I don't know if you know, but the official definition of FIFA is FIFA is the official happiness provider to humanity since 120 years. So we are providing joy and happiness.
The team loses.
Unless the team loses, of course.
That's not so happy.
And all this, of course, would not have been possible. And I say this because it is the truth. You don't need people to compliment you, Mr. President, but this World Cup would not have been such an incredible success without you. Please.
The Pope received Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, in the Vatican. The meeting was relaxed and quite short, lasting only 15 minutes. The Pope was interested in the state of the African country and used a translator to speak. As a gift, the Prime Minister gave him these embroidered fabrics that he explained are used to pray, and a picture with the image of the risen Christ.
So the Armenians are global, and that's why they have a chance, because the Tigray, for instance, are in Ethiopia. No one will take care of them. Armenians are different, so the Armenians are global, and that's why they have a chance, because the Tigray, for instance, are in Ethiopia. No one will take care of them. Armenians are different, so because the Tigray, for instance, are in Ethiopia. No one will take care of them.
1934. The world was gripped by economic depression, a depression that had started with the Wall Street crash in 1929. Adolf Hitler's rise to power under the slogan Arbeit und Brot, work and bread, had led to him being elected Chancellor of Germany in 1933, before assuming the role of Führer in 1934. American President Woodrow Wilson's idea of a League of Nations to keep peace following the Great War of 1914 to 1918 was failing, and extreme beliefs were prospering across Europe. Into a melting pot of tension and uncertainty, the second ever edition of the FIFA World Cup was due to take place. Italy were led by fascist dictator Benito Mussolini, and his policies surrounded the cult of personality. Il Duce, as he was known, prioritised being seen as the perfect man and perfect leader, done through both propaganda and force. With plans of Italian expansion in mind, a war of revenge in Africa with Abyssinia, now Ethiopia, would follow in 1935. Part of Mussolini's methods of winning support and public approval were through the promotion of sport. Il Duce was a keen follower of football and an active sportsman himself. The chance to host a World Cup in 1934 was the ideal opportunity to magnify Italy on a grand stage. A mass propaganda campaign followed in Italy, with posters, stamps, cigarette cards, and anything else promotional available used to ensure that Italy would be glorified through this feast of football. A major role in this cult of personality was sport. because Mussolini saw it as a means of expressing fascism's demand for individual dedication to the greater collective need. His order to all competitors who represented Italy was, remember, when you compete abroad, the honour and sporting prestige of the nation is entrusted to your muscles and above all, your spirit.
Il Duce needed to craft a new national identity, namely one based on strength, organisation, nationalism, militarism, a belief in natural social hierarchy, and the subordination of individual rights to the state's perceived interests. Football, and sports in general, proved a highly useful tool for connecting with the common man. A Human Rights Foundation article titled A History of Sports and Dictators, Part 2, The Rise of Fascism, breaks it down rather succinctly. Mussolini pioneered the weaponization of sports for political propaganda, social control, and international soft power projection. In this vein, the fascist regime developed centralized national policies to transform Italian society into a sports nation. Two-star names in that all-conquering Juve team were Luis Monti and Raimundo Orsi. Both were born and raised in Argentina and played hundreds of games in the domestic league there. The two men also received numerous caps for the Argentina national team. Like Monti, De Maria had also represented Argentina at the 1930 World Cup. All five of these men were part of the Italy squad in 1934, with Monti, Orsi, and Guaita starting the final. They, and many others, were known as oriundi, or returners. The term refers to individuals born outside of Italy to Italian immigrant parents or grandparents, who were then eligible to become naturalized Italian citizens and play for the Italian national team.
Camminare, costruire, e se necessario, combattere e vincere.
Moi, je crois que Mussolini, c'était un bon politicien. C'est-à-dire que tout ce qu'il a fait pour l'Italie.
Now professor of history at New York University, Ruth Ben-Ghiat. She's the author of the book Strongmen, Mussolini to the Present. Good to have you.
So, Ruth, it seems to me that far right may be a bit too tame of a description for a party that has fascist roots. And it looks like the next leader of Italy, who once openly praised Benito Mussolini.
Oh, absolutely. And it's important to stress that because she's now trying to market herself as a conservative. But there is nothing conservative about Meloni.
Well, it's an honor to be here and to introduce, I guess, and convey the award to someone who is even more beautiful on the inside than she is on the outside. Giorgia Meloni is someone that I admire, that has done an incredible job as the Prime Minister of Italy. Italy is experiencing record economic growth, record low unemployment. It's great. And she's also someone who is authentic, honest, truthful, and that can't always be said about politicians.
Billionaire investor Peter Thiel reportedly moved his family from the U.S. to Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, as a refugee from high taxes, political turmoil, and potential catastrophes like nuclear war and an AI meltdown. The PayPal co-founder and longtime Silicon Valley power player has met privately with Argentine President Javier Milei, purchased a mansion in one of Buenos Aires' most exclusive neighborhoods, and temporarily relocated his family to the South American nation, according to the New York Times. Thiel has 2 children with his husband, Matt Danzysen. Sources told the paper that Thiel made the move due to concerns about the political direction of the U.S., especially in California, where over half of voters supported a proposed wealth tax on billionaires.
On how Nazi war criminals escaped Europe and resettled in South America following World War II. It's thought as many as 5,000 Nazis evaded arrest in Argentina.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Star Key Forum. So my name is Samantha, and before I go to bed, I have to say this. So recently, like in the last couple of weeks, the president of Argentina has said that he's going to go ahead and release some documents proving Hitler spent the remainder of his life in Argentina. A lot of us knew that. We have said that. All of our lives, what were we told? Hitler took cyanide, him and his wife. You know, he himself, and he was buried in an unmarked grave, and the Russians found him, and, you know, it's safe. But we all knew about Operation Paperclip, right? You do know what I'm talking about. Everybody, please nod your head. If you do not, here's just a synopsis, okay? Operation Paperclip was the United States federal government accepting more than 1,600 German scientists into the federal government, into America, not holding them accountable for the atrocities of World War II. These 1,600 men, their children, and their wives permeated the federal government of the United States. Yeah, they gave them safe haven, folks. They gave them jobs. A lot of our CIA, right after that time period, that is when the CIA began experimenting on Americans, experimenting on people in prisons, experimenting on our military, on other federal employees. You really need to do your research if you don't know what I'm talking about.
And it's very important, if you look at the logo of the party, there's a tricolor flame in there. And that was the original logo of the neo-fascist party that was founded after Mussolini, died, and his party was banned. And she has insisted to keep that flame in there because her mission is to bring forth, to carry forth the values of fascism. So much so that a party elder just 3 days ago said, we are all heirs of Il Duce. So you're going to hear a lot of whitewashing, a lot of talk about her being conservative, but it's important to know who she is.
Not the case. You write about this development in a piece for The Atlantic entitled The Return of Fascism in Italy.
All right, guys, pretty sure Giorgia Meloni tricked us. We all fell for it, myself included. We posted that video of her speech, loved every second of the speech, what she said. I thought it was awesome. But yeah, if you look in this lady's past, she's not who we think she is.
An attack against Gianni by the Ethiopian resistance on February 19, 1937, the Italian military command ordered a mass extermination. 14,294 rebels killed and executed and 50,000 houses burned, culminating in the massacre of the Coptic monks of Debri Libanos and carried out by units led by Pietro Milei. Decades later, the latter's son, Gianni Milei, who followed in his father's footsteps in his military career, was convicted of aiding and abetting as part of the investigation into the December 12, 1969 Piazza Fontana massacre. Giorgia Meloni could learn in Ethiopia the story of another of the founding fathers of her MSI, Alessandro Lissona, placed by Mussolini at the head of the Ministry for Italian East Africa. In the post-war period, having gone through the purge unscathed, he would be a member and then senator of the MSI in 1963. April 1969, he resigned from the party and joined the National Front of Junio Valerio Borghese, another honorary president of the MSI, shortly before the coup attempt of December 7th to 8th, 1970. Thus, while she's touting a chimerical Mattei plan for Africa, Meloni might take the opportunity to think back to those founding fathers and those people who are no more, to whom she dedicated her electoral victory in September. Instead, she will continue to ignore the issue, and so will national public opinion, banking on the country's disinterested knowledge of its past and relying on the sad spirit of our times, which recalls Karl Kraus' famous aphorism, "When the sun of culture is low, even dwarves will cast long shadows."
In 1935, fascist Italy, led by dictator Benito Mussolini, decided to expand its colonial empire in Africa and take over Ethiopia. By that time, Ethiopia was the only fully independent state on the continent. Back in 1896, its inhabitants were able to defeat the Italian colonists and defend their independence. Since then, Rome craved for revenge for the humiliating defeat. In the morning of October 3, 1935, without any announcement, the fascists attacked Ethiopia and bombarded it most severely. Ethiopian armed forces fought courageously, but the brutality of the Italians knew no bounds. They used not only massive bombing attacks on civilians, but also chemical weapons, toxic gases. This changed the course of the war. As a result of the occupation of Ethiopia by the fascists, 760,000 people were killed. The capture of the African state was committed with Europe's tacit approval. Britain and France recognized the annexation, giving the green light to further fascist expansion in the world and paving the way for the outbreak of World War II.
We make sure to find Georgia, your dog. Don't worry about Georgia, we're going to find
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know what happened with the dog, and I really miss Georgia, the dog, not your prime minister, of course. And you know what happened with the dog.
Yes, we heard about the accident. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to verify whether it's true. The story is that Georgia, your dog, not our prime minister, Giorgia called Meloni or Giorgia Meloni, used to be Meloni.
Yes. And now, what happened to
Yes, it's not Meloni anymore. It's Melone, because she sold basically everything she had in order to make Donaldo Trompetta.
Who's that? Sorry.
Donald Trump, yes. In order
Donald Trump.
To make him happy, yes.
Okay, it's important to make him happy, I think. It is important.
L'obelisco di Aksum, il 13° monumento che attraverso i secoli Roma ha portato nella sua cinta augustea dalle terre d'Africa, inaugurata nella piazza di Porta Capena dal governatore dell'urbe alla presenza del popolo e delle rappresentanze del regime.
Manca 1 chilometro al traguardo. E adesso Radi deve lasciare che Abebe vada da solo a vivere la fantastica notte.